I am here to talk about gender identity, and I don't even know where to start, and I feel really scared. I'll tell you why I feel scared. What I want to say, what I want to talk about, I don't want to offend anyone, and I want to get it right, and I want to be liked, and so I'm just going to start there. But I have a confession around gender identity. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm a clinical sexologist, I'm a sex coach, and I am seen in this world as a role model. And I am grappling with and struggle sometimes with the conversation of gender identity. And so I just want to let you know that I'm doing the best I can, and it's challenging for me. And so for 35 years, for most of my life, I understood that there is two types of bodies, like a woman's body who has a vagina and a man's body who has a penis. And so my programming in my brain has thought that way for a long time. And it wasn't really until the last couple of years that thought is actually not completely true. And that there are some women who don't have vaginas, and there are some men who don't have penises, and there are some people who I don't identify as female or male, and then there's lots of other combinations, and with all that comes different language, like cisgendered men, cisgendered women, and non-binary, and transsexual, and trans men, trans women, and gender fluidity, and there's all this language that goes around it, and I want to get it right. And I'm grappling with it. And so when someone has a preference for their pronoun, if they look like a man, let's say, to me, and they're like, oh, they look like a man, and they want to be referred to as a she or a her, it's challenging. My brain is confused. And when I say that my brain is confused, I want to have compassion for myself and just trust that there's a learning process here, and trust that I'm doing the best that I can. And have compassion with myself as I want to honor people and want to learn the language. And when I think about my life, I have a lot of gratitude. So I was born in this body with a vagina, and I identify as a woman, as female, and I look like a woman and a female. And I imagine in the world that I live in, that I was raised in, that there's a lot of ease with that, right? So if I were born in this body, but felt like a man, I imagine that in the world that is today, that it would be really challenging. There's so much assumptions, and there's so much pain, and there's so much fear or confusion around anything that's not the programmed woman, vagina, man, penis. So I have a lot of compassion for anyone who is outside of that, if it's been difficult. And I want to offer, I guess I just want to end with this. I want to end with, I am happy I'm in my body. I love my body, and I'm grateful for that. And I am doing the best that I can to meet people and how they want to be met, and honor them and celebrate them, and refer to them how they want to be identified. And I want to continue to have compassion for myself, as this is a grappling process, as I get better at reprogramming my brain around gender identity. And it's a continuational evolution process. And I think that's all I want to say right now. And I just wanted to identify and kind of out myself that I feel shame that this is confusing, or that I'm still learning, or that I don't always get it right, or that I've called someone a she when they wanted to be called a he, or when I can't get my language around when someone wants to be called they and I can't get it right, and then like I beat myself up like, oh, I wanted to do it right, and I don't always do it right. But I know that my heart is always in the right place. And I love me, and I love you, And I say let's all learn together and celebrate the existence of gender diversity, gender identity. And I feel really torn with this. I feel really torn also. I also want to say this. I imagine that it'd be really cool if we lived in a world where there wasn't gender identity, right? There's gender neutrality. But at the same time, like, I like polarity. I like that I have a woman body, a vagina, breasts. I like that this is my body. And I like that there is something different than me. I like that there are humans that have penises and that there are men. So I like the polarity. So it's this really interesting mix between wanting gender identity to go away. But also there's a part of me that likes to celebrate and enjoy our polarity and our differences. And I'm really nervous to see all the comments that people say, because I imagine that someone's going to be hurt and offended. And I'm willing to be messy. I'm willing in order for me to learn and in order for me to facilitate more conversations, for people to be heard or for people to understand. I'm willing to put myself out there, and so I am. And so you can choose to love me, and I choose to love you. And that is all for now. Okay, bye.